Once upon a time, there was a little engine called Edward. He lived in a shed with 5 other engines. They were all bigger than Edward and boasted about it.
The driver won't choose you again. He wants big, strong engines like us.
Edward had not been out in a long time, and he began to feel sad. Just then, the driver and fireman came to start work. The driver looked at Edward and said,
"What's the matter, old boy? Are you feeling sad? Would you like to come out today?"
And Edward said,
"Oh, yes, please."
So they lit his fire and made a nice lot of steam. Then he blew his whistle. Then the driver pulled the lever, and Edward puffed away.
Look at me.
The other engines were very cross at being left behind. And away went Edward to get some coaches. At last, Edward found the coaches, and they said,
"Please be careful, Edward. Don't bump us and bang us like the other engines do."
So Edward came to the coaches very, very gently, and the shunter fastened the coupling. Coaches were very pleased.
"Thank you, Edward. That was kind. We're glad you are taking us today."
Then they went to the station where the people were waiting.
Here we are. Get in quickly, please.
So the people got in quickly, and then Edward waited for the guard to wave his green flag and blow his whistle. He waited and waited and waited, but there was no green flag or whistle. Edward was getting anxious.
Where is that guy?
The driver and fireman asked the station master,
Have you seen the guard?
No. Edward began to get cross.
How are we ever going to stop?
Just then, a little boy shouted, "Here he comes!" And there the guard was, running, with his flags in one hand and a sandwich in the other. He ran onto the platform, blew his whistle, and jumped in the van. Edward puffed off.
Here we go.
He did have a happy day. The children ran to wave as he passed, and he met friends at the station. He worked so hard that his driver said he would take him out again tomorrow.
I'm going out again tomorrow. What do you think of that?
But he didn't hear what they thought. But he was so tired and happy that he fell asleep at once. One of the engines in Edward's shed was called Gordon. He was very big and proud.
You watch me this afternoon, little Edward, as I rush through with the express. That will be a splendid
Just
time.
then, his driver pulled the lever.
Goodbye, little Edward. Look out for me this afternoon.
Edward went off too to do some shunting. Edward liked shunting. It was fun playing with trucks. He would come up quietly and give them a big push. Presently, he heard a whistle, and Gordon came puffing along very slowly and very crossly. Instead of nice, shining coaches, he was pulling a lot of dirty coal trucks.
The shame of it. The shame of it. Oh, the shame of it.
Edward laughed and went to go find some more trucks. Soon afterwards, a porter came to talk to Edward's driver.
Gordon can't get up the hill. May you have Edward to push him up, please?
Sure thing. They found Gordon halfway up the hill, and he was very cross. His driver and fireman were talking to him severely. "You're not trying, Gordon."
I can't do it. The noisy trucks hold an engine back, so if they were coaches now, clean, sensible things that come quietly, that would be different.
Edward's driver came up. "We've come to push you."
No use at all.
"Well, you wait and see." They brought the train back to the bottom of the hill. Edward came up behind the brake van. The guard blew his whistle, and they pushed and pushed as hard as they could.
I can't do it.
"I will do it!
I can't do it.
I will do it!" Edward puffed and pushed as hard as he could. And almost before he realized it, Gordon found himself at the top of the hill. He forgot all about Edward and didn't stop to say thank you. He had already passed 2 stations before his driver could make him stop. The guard waved at Edward, but he couldn't keep up. He was out of breath. He ran to the next station, and there the driver and the fireman said they were very pleased with him. The fireman gave him a nice long drink, and the driver said, "I'll get out my paint tomorrow, and I'll give you a new coat of blue with red stripes. Then you'll be the smartest engine in the shed." Once an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. He went into a tunnel and squeaked through his funnel and never came out again. His driver and fireman argued with him, but it was no use. Henry said,
No, I shall not come out. The rain will spoil my lovely green paint with red stripes.
The guard blew his whistle until he was out of breath, and he waved his flags until his arms ached. But Henry wouldn't come out of the tunnel, and he blew steam at him.
Go away!
The passengers came and argued too, but Henry wouldn't move. The fat director told the driver to get a rope.
I need you to go fetch a rope, right? We're going to pull you out.
They hooked the rope on, and all pulled except the fat controller.
Oh, my doctor has forbidden me to pull.
They pulled and pulled and pulled, but still Henry stayed in the tunnel. Then they tried pushing. The fat controller said,
1, 2, 3, and push.
but he didn't help himself.
My doctor has forbidden me to push.
They pushed and pushed and pushed, but Henry wouldn't move. At last, another engine came. The guard waved his flag and stopped it. The two drivers, the two firemen, and the two guards went and argued with Henry. Look, Henry, it stopped raining.
Yes, but it will begin soon.
So they brought the other engine up. It pushed and puffed and pushed and puffed. But Henry stayed in the tunnel. So they gave up, and the fat controller said,
Okay, looks like you're going to be walled up in there for forever and always.
So they made a new tunnel, took up the old rails, and built a brick wall in front of Henry. Now Henry can't get out. And he watches engines go through the other tunnel. And he's sad because no one will ever see his green paint with red stripes again. But I think Henry deserved it. Don't you? Edward and Gordon often went through the tunnel where Henry was shut up. Edward would say,
Hello.
and Gordon would say,
Serves you right.
Henry had no steam to answer. His fire had gone out, and soot and dirt from the tunnel ruined his lovely green paint with red stripes. He was cold and unhappy, and wanted to come out and pull trains too. Gordon always pulled the express. He was proud to be the only engine strong enough to do it. There were many heavy coaches full of important people, like the fat controller who punished Henry. Gordon was seeing how fast he could go. Gordon could see Henry's tunnel in front, and he thought to himself,
I'll whistle at Henry and rush through and out into the open again.
he was almost there when Gordon was in a cloud of steam and was going slower and slower.
I feel so weak.
The driver said, You burst your safety valve. You can't pull the train anymore.
We were going so nicely, too. Look at Henry laughing at me.
Everyone got out and came to see Gordon.
Oh, I have never liked these big engines. Send another engine at once.
While the guard went to go find another engine, they uncoupled Gordon and moved him out of the way. Edward, Gordon isn't feeling very well. Will you come help pull his coaches?
I'll try.
Gordon saw Edward coming.
That's no use. Edward can't pull the train.
He puffed and pulled and puffed and pulled, but he couldn't move the heavy coaches.
I told you so. Why not let Henry try?
All right, I will. Would you help to pull this train?
Oh, yes, certainly.
So Gordon's driver and fireman lit his fire, the walls were taken down, and the rails were put back. And when he had steam up, Henry puffed out.
Oh, I'm stiff.
You better have a run. Ease your joints and find a turntable.
Henry came back feeling much better. They put him in front. Edward said,
I'm ready.
So am I. Pull hard! We've done it together.
The passengers were so excited. Fat Controller leaned out of the window to wave at Edward and Henry, but they were going so fast that his hat flew off and fell into a field where a goat ate it for its teeth. They never stopped till they got to the station at the end of the line, and the passengers all got out and said, Thank you, Henry. And the Fat Controller promised Henry a new coat of paint.
Would you like to be painted blue with red stripes?
Oh, yes. Please, then I'll be like Edward and Gordon.